And do you remember how like your courtship went down?
It's very old school Haitian courtship.
I love
I
that.
courted her for 9 months.
Hello and welcome to the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast. I am your host, your roast coming queen, a girl who absolutely was in a ska band called Sitting Walrus, Alise Morales. And with us today, guys, we have such a funny comedian. He's a comic whose work you read in the New York Times. His special, January 3rd, is out right now on Amazon Prime. But before all of that, he was a graduate of St. Louis de Gonzague. It's TJ!
Thank you very much. Well done. You did a good job with that name. I know it's very daunting.
When I was coming into the episode, because I knew that you grew up in Haiti, and as we discussed, you are our first international guest, I was worried about the French, because I'll say I took Spanish in school, so I do not have any passing familiarity. So as we said, you went to high school in Haiti. So before we get into even like anything, what is the structure of Haitian high school? Like, what are the grade levels? What do you call them? How does that line up to you age wise?
It's basically well, I don't know if you're familiar with French, but it's structured after French schooling.
Okay.
So you get high school is 4 years.
Okay.
So you get to I'm trying to translate this if it's gonna work, but I guess
you can say
like you do freshman, troisième, seconde, première, et terminale.
Okay, and that lines up to
with freshman, whatever. Yeah, you got
sophomore, junior, senior. Okay, cool. So it's similar to what we're dealing with over here.
Yeah.
So was the school structured around like where you lived? Like, did you go to school with other kids nearby? Is it like a public school system, or are they religious in any way? Like, how does that match up?
Religious, very religious.
Okay.
And they have the best schools. I'm not a big fan of Catholicism, but Catholic schools in Haiti are the best schools ever. And I was lucky enough to go to a Catholic school, and it's very rigid. They give you the best education. They prepare you for the world. And I'm very grateful that I went to one of those. Yeah.
So what do you feel like made it actually prepare you for the world? Like, what aspects of it?
The basic stuff, like the level of math I got, like the SAT was fairly easy for me. When I came to America, things were fairly easy. Like, I got old math. I know now there's new math. I don't even know what that means. But you've heard of this concept, right?
Yeah, I have not kept up with what's going on in math.
If you give me a piece of paper, I can do like multiplication and division the old school way, and I'll be fine. But if you put a 15-year-old in front of me and tell him to like show this kid how to do new math, I'll be like, this is Chinese. I have no idea what you do.
So, okay, now that we've kind of painted the picture here. So teen TJ, what is teen TJ into? What are his interests?
Oh my God. How do I even put this? I was what you would call a social nerd.
Okay.
Yeah, I was a valedictorian. I was good at school.
Okay.
But I wasn't socially like weird, like the dude with glasses who's a virgin, that kind of stuff. Luckily for me, I wasn't that. So I was a nerd with some sort of credibility in the streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
A nerd with street credibility. Got it.
Yeah.
Did you do like, were you like focused academically, or did you play sports, anything like that? What was like the big sport to play at your high school?
Soccer. Which is, football. So yeah, we love that. And I played some basketball, but I mostly played soccer, and I was class president. I was very involved. And it's kind of annoying now that I'm a comedian, because when I was in high school, I would have funny thoughts all the time, but I could never express them because I was in charge of reining in the funny kids. Because teachers trusted me and wanted me to keep order and stuff. And I was like, but I kind of want to be with those guys in my head, but I couldn't do it because I had a responsibility. It was very frustrating.
So as class president, that you also had a like a moral leadership role, because I feel like our class president planned like one dance and that was it, but this was a role that you took very seriously.
Oh, pretty seriously. I went to an all boys school, so there was a lot of like alpha male energy, and just managing a bunch of dudes can be like a hassle for sure. So it was a lot.
Wow. So you were the class president, valedictorian, all of this stuff. Was there, I always ask this when someone went to like an all boys school, was there like an all girls school that you guys like mostly got your girlfriends from?
Yep. We had multiple of those. We had several sister schools. And what's funny about it was that those are the official schools where guys have girlfriends. Mm-hmm. And then there were other schools around, you know, lower status, where you would go and have side chicks.
So there was actually a ranking. See, this is the shit about high school that I love.
It's the worst.
It's like, so did you date when you were in high school?
I did. I had my first girlfriend in Premier, which is, I guess, the year before the final year. That's junior I guess.
Year. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
That was when I had my first girlfriend. It was from a sister school. She went to an all-girls school. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do you remember how like your courtship went down?
Oh my God!
How did you land her?
It's very old school Haitian courtship. I
love that.
Courted her for 9 months. Yeah.
So this was a nice, but that's the thing. That's because this is a nice girl. She's from the nice school. This isn't one of the side chick school girls.
That's right. You gotta put in work, just conversations on the phone every night, just getting to know each other. Can't wait to get home from school and call your girl. Well, she wasn't your girl yet, but the girl you're courting. So you put in all of that work for as long as you can, as long as you still like each other. And then one day you're like, do you want to be my girlfriend? Be my girlfriend? She's like, yeah, I like you enough. And I think you've put in enough work. Yes, you can be my boyfriend. I was like, okay, cool.
And how long did this relationship last?
It lasted 3 months.
Oh, but was it like the most passionate 3 months? Like,
oh my God, when you're in high school, you think the first time you love is the last time you'll ever love. So like there's that pressure and drama added to it.
I still get embarrassed remembering being 14 and telling my aunt that my boyfriend was the one. I was like, he's the one. I met him. And my aunt was like, yeah, definitely.
I will never date another man as long as I live. This is my prince.
And I was like, we're in the same biology class, and if that's not fate, I don't know. And he's got a
cool jacket. I don't want no other boys.
Yeah, he's got little glasses. I love him. So
yeah, it was really cool. Like I remember the excitement of, you know, like when there were parties, and then my school got invited and her school also gets invited. So you're like, oh, we're going to meet all the girls from her school, but I don't care about the other girls. I'm going to meet her because she gets to be there too. And we're going to get a little corner to ourselves and just dance all night and make out. Making out had so much power when you were a teenager.
Oh my God. And like, you would really go at making out, like really in a committed way that I don't.
For hours, your mouth would go numb and hurts.
To a point where, like I don't sustain injuries from making out the way that I did when I was a
Well,
kid.
It sounds like you weren't committed enough to your making out process, okay? If you're doing it right.
Anymore. I did back in the day. Back in the day, I put in some work at some movie theaters, but
you were movie theater making out girl. Okay. All right.
Yes, I definitely made out in a lot of movie theaters. And like basements people's basements. A lot of making out there. Where were your makeout spots?
A lot of parties. And, just can't wait when there's a party. And they're just gonna go find each other and make out. Yeah.
Yep. Were these like school sanctioned parties or like off campus, like somewhere?
Way off campus. No school sanction at all. They would never let us have a party with the girls because they knew that was trouble. Yeah.
So there weren't like, oh, we're going to do a dance with the boys' school and the girls' school. These were like, you guys were having, and were you drinking and stuff at these parties?
Yes. And the good thing about being Haitian is we don't have the 21 like age limit.
Oh, so when can you drink in Haiti?
Whenever you can reach the bar. That's the saying we have. If you're old enough and tall enough to reach the bar, then you can have a drink.
So was it like frowned upon for you to be doing that at all?
Not really, because I don't think we have a big alcohol culture. Like we don't have a big college culture like that. Even weed was unknown to me for a long time. Like not until senior year I heard of people smoking weed. So it's not. So really, it
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting because here it's such an intense deal, but I do always wonder if a lot of that is fueled by the fact that we're like not supposed to drink till we're 21, and so you start.
I think so. Once you put that pressure on it, this is something I cannot do. I'm gonna fucking do it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do it in the craziest way too.
I'm gonna butt chug and do all kinds of stuff.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And like just lose my mind. Okay, so you guys met at the dances. Did you do like prom and stuff at your school, or is that just a complete?
We did prom. I was in charge of like getting prom together. As the president, I had to like find a band to play at our prom party and do all. It was a lot of work and responsibility. I don't miss it. It was too much work. It felt like I wasn't able to enjoy the night. I'm like, man, I wish I was a president tonight. I would just want to let loose and chill.
Yeah, so it really seems like you had a major leadership role at your school. Was that something that you liked? Like, did you want to be in charge of things?
I guess on some level I wanted to, but it's also something people just put on me. They were like, you should be in charge.
What do you think?
If you have good grades and, you kind of carry yourself with some decency, people just choose you to be a leader. Yeah, it's kind of annoying.
So they were just like, you're the one.
Yeah.
And what about your parents? Were they strict parents? Were they super like, did they really want you to be doing this? Could they care less?
Well, the thing is, for high school, I moved to Port-au-Prince, which is the capital of Haiti. And I left my hometown where my parents still live. So I moved to Port-au-Prince to live with an aunt.
Oh, okay.
And she was the coolest aunt ever. So there was almost no rules. I just had to be responsible. Don't drink and drive. Don't do anything crazy, but you can go wherever you want and be an adult.
It's interesting that with all of that, you chose to like be class president, become valedictorian, all of that stuff. Cause I feel like the stereotype for a kid would be, oh, he's going to go crazy.
Yeah. This makes me sound like a narc, doesn't it?
No, I think it makes you seem like a very self-motivated individual.
Yeah, I am.
Mm-hmm. So what was your relationship to comedy or performing at all at this time?
Not much, because we don't really have stand-up comedy like that in Haiti. Mm-hmm. We have it a little bit now, but at the time where I was there, I was in high school in 2007, 2008. We didn't really have it. Mm-hmm. And it's not something I had fallen in love with yet. So there was performance, there was theater, there were plays, there were stuff like that. And I wouldn't say I was much of a performance guy, but I always had like creative ideas. I was pretty artsy. I wrote a lot. I wasn't this is going to be interesting. I was in a poetry group with a bunch of boys. We just wrote poetry and compared poetry together.
The Dead Poets Society, basically?
Yes.
Oh my God, you were in a little Haitian Dead Poets Society? That's beautiful.
Yeah, now I'm adult enough to admit, it wasn't gay. I actually liked it. Back in the day, I was like, this is kind of gay. This is weird.
Was it? So, I mean, there's something slightly gay about being in a secret poets society of all boys, but it's fun. You know what? Hey, that's fine. Let it be gay.
We just love language. We just love writing.
Poetry.
Yeah.
So would you guys like share your own work with each other?
Pretty much, yeah. Encourage each other, like, oh, this is really good. You're getting better at this. All right, write another one and then bring it on Monday so we can compare. Yeah.
This is literally the Dead Poets Society. I'm dying. So where did you guys like have a meeting place?
Yeah, well, the school I went to, we went to school from 8 to 4.
Okay.
So
it's late day.
Yeah, it was all day. And between 12 and 1:30, we had a long 90-minute recess.
That's so nice.
Very nice. I was very lucky to have that. And we get to play sports and compare poetry and talk about girls and talk about movies. That was the time where you get to let it all out. Yeah.
Oh, honestly, that sounds so lovely and so much better than what we did, which was like 7 to 2, but you just went through the entire time. We were never allowed to leave campus. Sometimes we had lunch at 10 a.m. because
oh my God, you should have went to high school in Haiti. I'm sorry.
It really sounds like I should have gone to high school in Haiti. So, okay, you have some pictures that you sent. I think it's time for us to go through and really dive in and get the full picture. So first of all, I do love when someone includes like a baby picture because we need so that we can get to the bottom of this because you already look like a young scholar in this baby picture.
Tiny scholar.
I
must have been 5 or 6. This was, I want to say, what comes after kindergarten? I think
first grade.
So I think it might have been my first. I have no. Yeah, my first grade picture. Like they just put you behind this big library, so you look like you're smart. You're in front of books.
Yes.
And as you can tell here, I don't think my mom didn't put lotion on my legs. So very ashy. Gay little boy.
Oh,
I don't know who told me to strike that pose, but it's pretty gay.
It is striking. It's a very you look very serious, and I think it reminds me that I think it's really funny that we make little kids take these like serious scholarly photos. Like I have one when I'm about this age where I'm wearing like a full graduation cap and gown. What I'm graduating from, no one knows. And I'm also sitting in a little library. It's like, what is this?
I'm smirking a little, but I'm also working on the cure for cancer. This is the kind of kid that I am.
Yes, you look like a show would be like, this kid's actually a doctor. And you would like come in and be like,
young Sheldon. This is what this is.
Yes, this is young Sheldon. Okay, so we've got the full picture of young Sheldon. Let's go to the next one here. Okay, now we're in high school.
Yeah, this is, I want to say, first year of high school.
And which is called what again?
Troisième.
Troisième.
Yes.
I love it.
And so did you have a uniform wherever you went to school?
So I had a uniform really briefly when I lived in California and went to public school out there, but I did not have one at my high school.
Okay. Yeah, I was lucky enough. Most schools in Haiti do have uniform. My school, we just wore clothes, jeans, and just t-shirts every day.
That's so surprising because I feel like Catholic schools in the U.S. are like the most likely to have the uniform.
Yes, most Catholic schools in Haiti do have uniform, but for some reason that one, they just didn't do it. And it was the coolest thing ever because of that.
So what was your like teen style? Because I honestly feel like right here in this picture, you look slick. Like most people show up, they look embarrassing and crazy. You look like a nice young man.
Yeah, there was at the time, it was cool to have a white tee underneath your main shirt. Mm-hmm. Even though it was hot as fuck, but we just did it because it was cool. You just like, all right, I got my white tee, got a little nice 90s going on here. Mm-hmm. It was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I just feel like your collar is crisp. Like this looks like a picture that you could make the cover of like an album. You know what I mean? And it's like
it could be, actually. It could be.
TJ and the like parental guidance, explicit content.
Yeah, the face looks like I'm not totally happy. There's a little hint of like, I don't know what I'm being morose about, but there's something where I'm like, I'm kind of melancholic.
Yeah, and you really are looking right down the barrel, like right into the soul of the camera.
Man, I didn't have a girlfriend yet, so it could have been just sadness from being alone.
Yeah, it's the deep loneliness of having never had a girlfriend. Did you guys do like a yearbook and all that jazz as well? I mean, it seems like you're doing school photos.
We did, yeah.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. And do you sign each other's yearbooks?
Yep. One of my favorite memories was, that was before high school. I broke my arm, so I had a cast. Mm-hmm. And I got all my friends to just write nice stuff on it, and it was the coolest stuff ever.
Yeah. And it makes you feel so, it turns such a shitty thing into such a cool thing when you're a kid, to be like, okay, I sustained an injury, but now everyone's gonna write on my cast.
Yeah, I'm a hero now. Come write your little messages to me. Yeah.
I never injured myself because I never like put myself out there to be injured. I'm like very physically cautious.
You're living too safe, man. It's not too late. You should go out and break a bone. This is the good time for it. You're gonna be inside anyway.
I know, and I'm also worried that because I've never broken one, that when I finally do, I'm like really gonna fuck myself up. Like it's gonna be really, really bad.
And what if it happened in the most ridiculous way? You're taking a shower and fall like an old lady and
that's
your collarbone.
That's how it's going to happen. I'm gonna like take a hit of my vape pen and walk into a door. Like it's not gonna be cool at all. It's gonna be so messed up.
Crazy.
All right, let's look at this next photo. Okay, so who do we have here?
This was one of my best friends in high school. That's when we first discovered the gym and decided working out was a cool thing to do because, you get some muscles on and you're a little bit more impressive to the ladies. Yeah, that was us pretending to be big boys right there. Look at that.
Yeah, you again, both of you have a very like, us. You're just catching us in the gym.
Yeah, I was just, hey man, just doing what we do.
Oh, I'm just really dedicated to working out.
Yeah.
Did your school have like a full like weightlifting gym?
They did not, but this specific gym where I was a few blocks from my school. So after school, we would go and work out.
Oh, okay. So yeah, what were like the after school hangs for you and your boys?
A lot of it was waiting on campus, just sitting, waiting for your parents to come pick you up.
So much of adolescence is sitting, waiting for your parents to come pick you up.
Yeah, just sitting and finding all kinds of activities to kill the time. And, you'd have one car and then a parent would pick up 12 kids, neighboring kids whose parents didn't have a car, didn't have time to pick them up. That was a real community thing going on. Yeah, it was cool.
So you guys would like carpool together, kind of like to and from school, depending?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Was like a school bus a thing? Or, because I guess ultimately that was our version of that. Was just
not really, but you had this thing called a tap. It's like a little pickup truck. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've ever seen that. And then they create like a little roof, a little enclosure on top of it.
So I think I've seen that on the Anthony Bourdain episode where he goes to Haiti. So.
Yep, and people come, you pay $2, you get to sit in the back and take a ride, and then you go to school. Yeah.
That's so cool. Yeah, see, I feel like when I was growing up, high schoolers, and in the US maybe, and like definitely in like suburban Virginia where I grew up, the idea that you would like let high schoolers get on public transportation or like let them have an hour in the middle of the day where we didn't like keep complete close tabs on them, or that they would be allowed to drink if they wanted to, was so far outside of what was happening at all.
Yeah. What town in Virginia did you go to high school to?
Oh, in my high school was called Oakton, and it was in Oakton, and then I'm from Franklin Farm.
Okay. I have a cousin who currently lives in Colonial Heights, which is 45 minutes, I think, outside of Richmond. Are you familiar?
Yeah. Well, so my sister went to school in Richmond. Virginia is like the biggest state that people don't realize is enormous, and it's actually it's so huge. But I was up north by like the DC area, which is very like all of the families in that area, like their parents work for the government. They're very like, it's just like a very uptight, like buttoned up area where you would never let high schoolers, you're like very worried about what high schoolers are up to.
Were you guys super religious?
No, I mean, I would say the area is like vaguely white Christian people, but my family wasn't religious, and I went to a public school, so it wasn't like I wasn't in like a religious institution. Were you so like you were saying your school was super religious, so did you have like mass at school and stuff?
There's a chapel at my school. That's how religious they are. There's a little chapel, so you don't have to even travel too far for the mass. You go and then you do it. And we had the whole thing during the month of May, it's a Catholic school. The month of May is the month of the Virgin Mary.
Okay.
And then you got to recite 10 Hail Marys every single fucking day for all 31 days in the month of May. And I'm like, by the second day, Mary's like, all right, we get it. Get off my back already. Get off my dick, please. I don't need more prayers. I'm good. It was a lot.
Are the teachers like, is this a Catholic school where like you fully have like nuns as teachers, or are the teachers priests, or are they just like other Catholic
There were
people?
there were a lot of laymen, and there were a few teachers who were, they're not priests, they're brothers. It was a different type of congregation. Yeah, there were brothers and sisters. Yeah. Okay,
and you said that it was like strict. So if you like fucked around at your school, what was the punishment?
Well, the worst kind is you get expelled. You out of school. But sometimes they would, like for minor things, you might get lines.
Oh, okay. So like writing.
You have to write, I will never put my finger in this teacher's face 200 times. You'll never do that. That kind of stuff, which is a punishment. Yeah, but.
Yeah, it feels very like old school.
Yeah, very. It's like the closest we can get to corporal punishment, but we also want to teach you how to get better at cursive. That's the vibe of it.
Yeah. And did you have like a Bible class or like a religion class?
Yep. Every single year, you get a religious class teaching you about Catholicism and why Catholicism is the best religion ever. It's basically indoctrination.
And did you feel that way about the class then, or were you just like, yeah, checks out Catholicism? There's definitely nothing bad about Catholicism.
There were a few rebels back then, and I was definitely one of them, but I had to be quiet because I was also responsible, and that really like dampened my ability to speak my shit. But yeah, it felt that way back then, and the stuff about, especially Catholic schools, like, all right, let me say, the Catholic schools have such a good education. You almost forget that they fuck kids. You forget all the other shit that they do because you enjoy being in school so much. You're like, they taught me Latin. I mean, they touched my friend, but I learned Latin. Which one is more important? I don't know. It's hard.
I mean, like there are places that don't give you a good education and still fuck kids. So at least
right, so all things considered, like,
oh boy, okay.
I hope you don't have to cut that out. I'm sorry.
No, I don't think we're leaving it in. Oh, we're leaving it in. What I was gonna ask you was, did you get in any trouble when you were in school, or were you kind of able to evade that?
I got in minor trouble, nothing really big, like to the point of like they had to call your parents in. Mm-hmm. Not really. I got in minor trouble. Yeah.
For like talking back or.
Yeah, talking back. I remember like I started to be a rebel in senior year. And I wasn't happy, like, especially as the president, I wasn't happy with everything the principal was doing. He was very strict and he was kind of hypocritical in the way he was doing things. Mm-hmm. And I remember I wrote a very strongly worded letter that I was gonna send him. And I showed it to a bunch of my friends. They were like, yes, we all support this. We're gonna sign it. We behind you. And then I shared it with one of my teachers, and he was like, listen, I agree with this. I don't think it's good for your future to send this to him. Mm-hmm. And he talked me out of it. Maybe. And to this day, sometimes I wonder, what would have happened if I had sent him? Would that have changed the trajectory of my life?
Yeah, that's so interesting. So what was it that set off you writing the letter? What was his behavior?
Just the way he was treating us. He was managing us with fear as opposed to mutual respect. Like, if you do this, this will happen. If you do that, that will happen. And I was like, look, man, we're fucking adults. So
listen, we drink, we go to parties, bud.
Yeah, we're fingering people. We're in high school.
I take the bus here, like.
Exactly. I'm going to parties, talking to my girlfriend every night. I have a girlfriend, bro. Don't treat me like this.
Yeah, I'm a man. I have a woman.
Yeah.
Okay, this is super interesting to me. What do you think could have, like, the principal could have done that would have changed the trajectory of your life?
I don't think the letter was enough for him to expel me, but I think he possibly could have removed the prom privileges from us because of that letter.
Oh, like he would have been like, oh, you want me to respect you?
No prom for you.
Okay, respect this.
Yeah.
Prom's over.
I think he could have done that, and maybe
take your woman to the parking lot, TJ.
Yeah, and I think if that happened, the boys probably would be mad at me for being the leader who did not get them their prom party with them and their girlfriend. So yeah, it's like interesting to like, what if? I wonder.
Yeah, that is interesting, but it could have gone. I mean, if you ended up being the reason prom was canceled, that sucks.
That would have been a huge burden. Oh my God.
that would have been terrible. So, so when your high school ended, was your plan to come to college in the US? Had you figured out you wanted to do stand-up at all at this point? What did the end of your high school career look like?
I hadn't figured out stand-up yet, but I do know I wanted to come to America. I had applied to 2 schools, one in Florida, one in New York. The one in New York gave me a half scholarship, so I thought, all right, I'll come here. So I took my SATs and that. And then you got to go get your I-20. I don't know if you know what that is. It's the paperwork to get a student visa.
Okay.
And then I had to go to the embassy of the US in Haiti to like have an interview with the consulate, and they would be like, okay, so why do you want to come here? Blah, blah, blah. Just making sure that you're not gonna come here and have a bunch of kids on American soil. That you actually coming to be a student.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right.
So I had to prove
that it's
all
not
of
a
that.
90-day fiance situation.
That's right.
Were you like, did you have to figure all that stuff out yourself? Did your parents or your aunt help you with that? Or were you just kind of like, I guess I'll go to the consulate?
I was fairly responsible. That I kind of, learned from like older cousins who'd done it, just get people to give me advice. Yeah. So I managed to do it. Being a president, you carry that stuff on your shoulders. Yeah.
You had to go far to represent the entire class. You had to make it to New York.
Yeah.
Was that like a common thing for kids at your school to do, to like go out of the country for college, or was that kind of rare?
It was fairly common for my school. It's pretty rare for Haiti, but we were lucky enough to go to my school because the religious schools tend to be for middle class and rich people sometimes. So I was lucky and privileged in that way, that my parents really value education. Like a lot of the kids I went to school with had way more money than me. But my parents, they're like, we don't care if we don't have their level of money, but we want to have access to that level of education, so we'll pay for it.
Yeah, like we'll pay into something that's maybe actually like a step above where we're at, so that you could have,
so that you could be better off. And then they did that, so now I'm a stand-up comedian. So the tables have turned.
Okay. That's so funny. All right. I think we have 2 more pictures. Let's definitely take a look at them before we round this out here. All right. Where are you in this photo? You look like you're calling together like a meeting or something.
This picture, so all right, this is gonna sound very weird to an American. But in Haiti, the pizza is not huge. So we only had 2 places where you could go get pizza.
Okay.
And this was one of them, me and a couple of high school friends, one of our very rare pizza nights. And we got to that place. And that look on my face was, I kind of was angry because someone ate my pizza.
Wow. How did this happen?
They were just playing around. And I'm like, listen, you better not fucking touch my pizza. It was a girl, so I couldn't really be that mad. Because I'm like, all right, I guess she's a girl.
That's a game we women can play, especially in high school.
Yeah. So it was a pizza night at Eminaz. Yeah, I remember that.
And now, so now that you've lived in New York, you've had New York pizza. How did the pizza at this place stack up?
You know what? It's still pretty good. Yeah, I think they knew, like, this is a rare thing, so we're gonna put elbow grease into this and make sure these kids enjoy it.
If we're gonna be the one place providing teens with pizza, we need
That's right.
They took like much like you and your responsibilities as president, they took their symbolic role.
There you go. Exactly.
Seriously. Yeah. All right, let's look at this next photo. I believe. Okay, what group do we have here?
This is a class picture in second year of high school.
Okay, so this is like a sophomore. It's really interesting. You guys do there's like 3 of you in a row that have like a collared shirt with a striped pattern that is tucked in.
Yeah. And this was so you see that older man on the right, that's the teacher of the day. So he took the picture with us.
Oh, so teacher of the day, is that like, what is that position?
He was the guy who was there at the time they was taking that picture. So he just took it with us. It's not a special role or anything.
I thought it was like a special role that like every day they'd be like, and today the teacher of the day is
this is Tuesday's teacher, and then
every day everyone takes a picture with it.
Yeah. It's actually funny. There's a continuity between those pictures, because now if you see the dude that sits down kind of right in front of me.
Yes.
That's the dude that I was at the gym with in the previous picture.
There you go. And at this point, had you guys started going to the gym?
No, that was before. We were pretty look at us. We're pretty like feeble here. Like there's no muscles, nothing. I think we basically looked at that picture and we were like, all right, we got to do something about these bodies. This is very pitiful.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, that's wonderful. I think this is your last photo.
I think so. Okay. I could have sent more, but I chose 5. Should I have sent more?
No, that was perfect. No, that was perfect. Don't even worry about it. So we're rounding this out here. We've got a picture of a teen TJ. He's like super self-motivated. He's a leader. He ends up in New York. Take us just briefly through your college journey and how did you end up getting into stand-up?
All right. So I got to the US in 2008. And remember, we don't speak English in Haiti. So I'm learning as I got here, I'm in college and I'm realizing I don't know what the professors are talking about most of the time. My 4 years of English did not prepare me for this. So I was like, I got to go to work and not be an idiot in class. So I started watching a lot of television. Lo and behold, Comedy Central was very hot at the time. Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert were educating me every night about America and how this country works, how the system works, the politics of it, while staying funny. Mm-hmm. So I was really into like their sense of humor, and I just got into stand-up. So I started watching every single piece of stand-up that I could get my hands on. 2008, Katt Williams, very hot.
Oh my God. I would like download Katt Williams stand up on like illegal LimeWire, and it would like come through all like crackly and like crazy.
Yeah, he was the man around that time.
Huge.
But the thing is, he was it was scary for me watching him because it was like, I like this, but I don't know that I can do it. Mm-hmm. And then I remember one night I was in college, just, first year in America, trying to kind of fuck. So I got this girl over to my dorm and I was like, I'm going to play some comedy for you. So I went on YouTube and played some Katt Williams for her. And she was like, oh, this is cool. And she was like, oh, this is cool, but I got something even better for you. So she put on George Carlin. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is my first time seeing this. And this looks a little bit more like my speed. Mm.
Yeah, because like Katt Williams is such a specific style of person.
Such a performer. He's sweating all over the place. He's got the pimp suit on. He's got perm in his hair. And I was like, this is not me. I don't have that kind of energy. I could not do this.
No.
But George was a little bit more cerebral, just standing there and talking shit about whatever he wanted to. Like, I remember the 10 Commandments. That was the bit that the girl put on that night. And I was like, oh, I like this. He's criticizing religion. I've been thinking about this since high school, but I couldn't do it because I was president. So, I want to do that. And that was so mesmerizing. I almost forgot I was trying to fuck this girl. I did not even fuck her. I was like, I found my dreams. You and your pussy can just stay over there. I'm good. I'm watching.
Yeah, actually, I'm sorry. You just changed the entire course of my life. So I'm going to need you to leave.
Yeah. That's pretty much what happened.
That's so interesting. And I'm sure this is for another podcast, but starting comedy in a language that was not your first language must have been a unique journey as well.
Yeah, it was very interesting. It was pretty terrifying. You get like one of those things is like, do you ever think about which language you dream in?
Well, I only speak English, so I just am always like, it's all in English. I know. Yeah. It's like, it's so boring. My Spanish is like, okay, but I'm definitely not dreaming in Spanish. So I know that my dad, who's bilingual, I think says that he'll dream in Spanish still.
Yeah, I would dream my whole life in Haitian Creole. And then I came here about 3 weeks in, I had my first dream in English. And it kind of freaked me out. And what's weird about it is my parents were speaking perfect English in the dream, and my parents do not speak a word of English in real life. So I was like, what is going on here?
My dream parents are scaring me.
I'm like, I guess I'm accepting America. So here we are. Yeah.
TJ, you were an amazing guest. It was so awesome to talk to you. We round out every episode with this question, which is, if you could talk to teen TJ today, what would you tell him?
Oh my.
I mean, he seems to like have it together in a pretty good way, but
Yeah, he was pretty good. I would say you're doing pretty good, man. Just lean more into the creativity that's inside of you and, live a little bit less for your parents, live more for yourself.
yeah. Did
I
you
would
feel
say
like maybe a lot of that stuff that you, like all of the high achieving stuff, you wanted to impress your parents?
yeah, it made them happy and proud, so I just kept doing it mostly for them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But you want to
And,
be a comedian.
and now that I do this, they don't know how to deal with it. It's like, well, this is not making us happy and proud. What are you doing?
Yeah, you spoiled them for years by doing exactly what they wanted and then hard pivoted into something that they don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, that's, I think, where we're going to end it. So TJ, thanks so much for coming on the show. Your special is on Amazon Prime right now. It's called January 3rd, correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, everyone go check that out. And for everybody listening at home, this has been the Roast of Your Teenage Self podcast.